In the last few chapters, Dragon has been shown a few times. The one and only thing we could take from these panels is that Dragon has a focus only on his plan to take down the world government. He did not do anything when Ginny was kidnapped. Dragon also let the world government turn Kuma into a cyborg, and in the last chapter it was revealed that despite the fact that Dragon cares about Luffy, he still had to see Luffy secretly because his son is Dragon's biggest weakness, and both Luffy and the plan of the Revolutionary Army could be in danger. Of course, he cared about Ginny and Kuma as well, but as you see, his plan is his #1 priority. So what is the plan of the most mysterious man in One Piece? 25 years ago, Dragon was the captain of a group called the Freedom Fighters, a small, poor military organization at the time. This was the start of the Revolutionary Army. 24 years ago, he was shown to have witnessed Goldie Roger's execution. He had no tattoo at the time. The same year, he also met Vegapunk and asked him to join his group, but he refused because their lack of resources would not allow him to actually build anything. 2 years later, Dragon talked with Vegapunk again and vowed to create an army that can actually fight back against the government to stop disasters like O'Hara from happening. Soon after that, he got his famous tattoo. Vegapunk's vow seems like foreshadowing. Oda would not make Dragon say these words for nothing, especially when we are already in the final saga. How much do we actually know about the Revolutionary Army? Sabo is very powerful. We also have strong characters like Ivankov and Karasu. No disrespect, but does anyone believe that Dragon can take down the world government with members like Inazuma, Morley, Bello Betty, and Hack? As I said, Sabo, Karasu, and Ivankov are pretty strong. Dragon must be one of the strongest characters as well, but we are talking about defeating characters like Imu, Gorosei, the Holy Knights, Admirals, Marines, and so on. Even if Oda reveals a few strong secret revolutionaries like Aokiji and Mihawk, as the theory suggests, it still won't be enough. Even the Straw Hats Alliance could defeat the Beast Pirates, a massive pirate organization with roughly 20,000 strong members, and Kaido's plan was the same. He wanted to build an army of Smile users to fight the government. Of course, Smile users were not very strong, but they are still much stronger than a normal marine. This only shows us one thing: Dragon needs a much stronger army than that. Naturally, in the final war, Dragon won't be the only one to fight the system. Most likely the Straw Hats and other strong pirates will help as well, but they have to fight the strongest characters like Gorosei, Akainu, and more. There won't be enough people to fight all the Marines. They just sent 100,000 Marines to Egghead like it was nothing, so we are talking about at least 500,000 men excluding the strongest ones. 150 chapters ago, we were introduced to the Rocks Pirates, and after that, it was shown that this crew played a huge part in many important events of the world. All these characters are still relevant to the current timeline. Stussy plays a big role at Egghead. Big Mom and Kaido had 2 big arcs for themselves, Whole Cake Island and Wano. Whitebeard had Marineford. Captain John and his treasure have been mentioned since chapter 233 and are still important to this day. Zabak has not been revealed yet, and of course, Oda is saving him for some big revelation in the future. Only Shiki is left, and Shiki was not just a random member of the Rocks Pirates. It's also clear that Oda did not forget about Shiki, and I am sure we will see him soon. During a flashback in Wano, Kurozumi Higurashi was seen using her ability to briefly transform into Shiki. In Wano, we also witnessed some flying objects, and during the time skip, Beiji's ship was flying as well. Also, one interesting thing is that Oda wanted to have Shiki mentioned during the meeting between Shanks and Whitebeard. He, however, held back because he thought it might be too much info for the readers and confuse them. This means that Oda has some plans for Shiki and will reveal them probably very soon. Now let's talk about Shiki, his goal, and why I believe he has an alliance with Dragon. 27 years ago, with his large pirate fleet and Roger's knowledge of an ancient weapon, Shiki believed that together they could take over the whole world and asked Roger to become his right hand. Due to a storm that happened during their fight, Shiki lost and half of his fleet sunk. Later, he fought Garp and Sengoku. He lost and was imprisoned in Impel Down. 20 years ago, Shiki was considered the first prisoner to escape from the great prison Impel Down by cutting off his own legs. Later, he asked Whitebeard to be a part of his plan, but Whitebeard refused. Shiki then revealed to Whitebeard that he would disappear for a while. He met Dr. Indigo and asked him how long his plan would take, and was told that it would take 20 years at least. Exactly 20 years have passed after that moment, so it's time for Shiki to show up. Everything I said up to this point about Shiki is canon. We also have a non-canon film about him named Strong World where he tried to put his plan in motion, but don't forget that it's non-canon. We also saw the red-haired pirates in film Red and Supernovas in Stampede, but it did not change anything for One Piece. If Oda wanted to use Shiki only for this film, he would not show him in recent arcs and he would not have wanted to mention him during Shanks and Whitebeard's meeting. The last canon Shiki scene was him talking about his 20-year-old plan, and surprisingly, after 20 years, we are in the current timeline. It's not just a random scene. But why Dragon? As you know, at first, Shiki asked Roger to join him to take down the government. Later, he asked Whitebeard. On the other hand, Dragon asked Vegapunk for help, but they all refused. Shiki wanted an ancient weapon from Roger, and Dragon wants an army. We will talk about Whitebeard later. Also, coincidentally, Shiki has a 20-year-long plan while Dragon got his face tattoo nearly 20 years ago. Shiki wants to rule the world, so he needs to take down the world government like Dragon. Even if Shiki and Dragon have an alliance, it's possible that Shiki did not tell Dragon about his true intentions. On the other hand, Dragon is not stupid to trust Shiki so easily, so he has a backup plan for sure. But for now, they need each other. There are a lot of theories that Dragon has an ancient weapon. Most theories are about his tattoo and some hint at Shiki versus Roger's fight. Due to a storm that happened during their fight, many think that Dragon was with Roger or it was the power of the ancient weapon. Also, it's interesting why Dragon was at Roger's execution. Most theories suggest that Roger knew Dragon and left the ancient weapon he found to the revolutionary who will use it in the future to change the world. The lion is traditionally referred to as the king of beasts, fitting Shiki's control over numerous animals. Also, Shiki commanding a beast-steel crew is similar to Kaido of the Four Emperors. Coincidentally, they were once crewmates on the same ship. Kaido's army was just foreshadowing. Shiki's animal army will be way more powerful. As you probably already guessed, Shiki needs Dragon because of his ancient weapon, as Shiki believed that with an ancient weapon he could take over the world, and Dragon needs Shiki for his animal army. Despite the fact that the One Piece film Strong World is non-canon, we can still take some interesting information from it. It's shown that after 20 years had passed, Shiki was set to put his plan in motion. However, one of his animals, a large horned beetle, escaped from his base of operations, and Shiki ultimately dismissed the escaped beetle, citing one escapee would not stop his plans, but it did. Why is this interesting? Because a beetle is not just a random animal. I am sure most of you know about Luffy's obsession over beetles. We have seen it in cover stories, in One Piece films, during Luffy's childhood at Fishman Island, and even on Egghead. The beetle is connected to Nika. Nika is the sun god, and in Egypt there is a god that represents the morning sun named Khepri, who had the head of a beetle. Khepri also represents creation and the renewal of life. Luffy has renewed a lot of people's lives during the series, starting with Zoro and Kobe. Another hint is this image. Isis and Nefertari are standing before a beetle-headed god who sits upon a colorful throne. It's clear that Alabasta is based on Egypt, and the Alabasta kingdom and the Nefertari family played a big role during the Void Century. I also want you to pay attention to Isis's earrings. Boa Hancock has the exact same earrings in One Piece. The sun god, Nefertari, and Boa's earrings. In short, the beetle is a reference for Luffy. He was the missing part in Shiki's plan. Luffy, aka Joy Boy, the man the world has been waiting for centuries. He is the key to defeating the world government, and most likely Dragon knew it from the moment he saw Luffy's devil fruit. He is one of the smartest and most knowledgeable people in the world, and in the last chapter it was revealed that Dragon has been visiting Fuchsia Village to see Luffy. Like Shanks, he was also waiting for Nika. That's why he was okay with Luffy being a pirate. A pirate? That's fine too. Of course, he did not want Nika to become a marine. The day we shall meet again will eventually come. He said the same words as Shanks, but Luffy is not Shanks' son, and it's explainable, but what was Dragon waiting for to meet his son? Again, for Luffy to achieve his Nika form. Every time Luffy had a bounty raise, we had Shanks and Dragon's reactions. When Shanks saw Luffy in Nika's form on a bounty poster, he smiled and told Ben Beckman that it was time to claim the One Piece. Surprisingly, we did not see Dragon's reaction. I wonder why. Dragon did not try to save Ginny and Kuma because he could not abandon his plan. Also, he could not attack the world government that time because he was waiting for something. He was waiting for Nika. Because the One Piece needs Nika's power. That's why Roger laughed and wished he was born in Joy Boy's era. That's why Whitebeard told Blackbeard that he was not the man Roger has been waiting for. Shanks and Roger knew about this, and that's why they were waiting for him. But what if someone had found the One Piece before Luffy reaching Year 5? Here comes Shiki, the lurking legend, the man with the scar. We know that the locations of the 4 road poneglyphs during Roger's time were Whole Cake Island, Wano, Zhao, and Fishman Island. In the current timeline, 3 of them are still at the same location, but the 4th one, the one on Fishman Island, is lost. We know that before his death, Whitebeard had a number of locations under his protection. One of them was Fishman Island. Also, don't forget that Shiki asked Whitebeard to join him for some reason. This reason was the road poneglyph. After his death, Shiki stole the poneglyph from Fishman Island and became the lurking legend. As we know from Lafette, the man with the scar can be found on a ship, and if anyone sails near, they end up swallowed by giant whirlpools. We don't know the full power of Shiki's Fua Fua no Mi, but his devil fruit allows him to fly, as well as make surrounding non-living matter levitate after he has come into contact with it. I believe he found a way to create whirlpools with his multifunctional devil fruit. This way, Shiki and Dragon made sure that no one would find the One Piece before Luffy achieves his Nika form. In conclusion, after Luffy finds the One Piece, Dragon and Shiki will put their plan in motion, and they will defeat the world government with the help of an ancient weapon, an animal army, and Luffy. I also believe that in the end, Shiki will try to kill Luffy to become the king of the world, but Dragon will sacrifice himself to save his son. This way, he will be both a good father and the man who defeated the world government. I know that this may seem like a reach for you, but I still wanted to talk about this idea. Write what you think about this theory down in the comments. Also, if you want to know more about Dragon and his powers, you can watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.